Welcome to the Powerful Comicsman podcast. This is Jerald Dorado, and we continue the 40 Life Wisdom at 40 series. We're now at number 25, but before we continue, let me just tell you about our little awesome online bake shop called Mutual Lux Cakes. Check us out at hello.miucha on Instagram and Facebook. That's at HELLO.MIUCCIA. We have the best vegan desserts, cakes, cookies, even wedding cakes, donuts, and lots of amazing surprises. Check us out on Instagram at hello.miucha. Okay. All right, and we also have a website for this entire series. Visit www.comicsman.com/40 life wisdom at 40. You can follow the series there. All of the episodes are compiled on that webpage. Okay, and with that, let's go on with number 25. Well, actually, number 25 is another tip or another thing to realize. Okay, so people behave in identifiable patterns, which means people are predictable. Okay, so I think it would be very useful if you realize this, realizing that you can actually study people objectively and make informed decisions on the tendencies of the people around you, those that you know already, who are uh, those who you those whom you have established personal relationships with, or the past people that you've met. You could make analysis of them, and especially for the new people that you will meet in the future. um, Knowing this, studying people, and identifying the patterns on how people operate and think, it's it could help you choose better friends, choose better company, um, and basically um, help yourself uh, choose the environment you want to be in. Okay, so this is actually that. Well, when doing this, when identifying patterns, doesn't mean you're judging people. Okay, let me just get that clear. That's not uh, different. I'm not talking about prejudice here. Okay, it this is um, I think you can do you without judging, because you can do you can objectively determine based on actions that the people you meet demonstrate. Based on those, you can make an objective decision whether if you would think that you would want to spend more time with that person, right? Um, because sometimes this is not. I think what I think this is not stereotyping, because by stereotypes, you would need to have specific, um, let's say, people groups, like a stereotype based on race, based on gender, and based on social class. But if you're gonna make individual assessments of individual people, you will find out that uh, this actually breaks the help you break stereotypes, because you will find out that some of the stereotypes that people have, or groups of people have, might not apply to when you discern people individually, right? If you're gonna, maybe you have a stereotype of of a of somebody from this place. I don't know. Stereotypes that are not that pleasant to talk about. But okay, let's talk about that. Okay, let's tackle that. Because stereotypes do exist. Okay, and if you're gonna skirt around that or tiptoe your way, then that's not addressing a problem. Besides, I think there could be an argument that um, stereotypes are necessarily bad, right? I think intention, intent, and deliberate malice, that is, or intentional malice rather, that would be the one that's evil. But but uh, but a general idea on what a group of people could be, those can have some truths in them. But I digress again. Okay, that's a very broad topic to uh, to navigate. But I'm just gonna tell you, this is not stereotyping. This is different. Okay, this is individual assessment of every person that you're gonna meet. Okay, because there would be and the beauty about this is what I said earlier. This will surprise you to know that some people could be like this or that. That you would be um, either disappointed or impressed with the things that you would find about different sets of people that you're gonna meet. But based on the title, you if you study and observe people long enough, I think it will probably take you some time to have a sense of mastery on this skill, unless you're gonna really research and devote time studying. Then it's I think this is a gradual skill that you can acquire, unless you're really into studying psychology, or somebody more knowledgeable than me can mentor you. Because I think I started realizing this, I was already in my late 20s, and that you can actually you can actually by then I was able to predict how people might react. At least some of them. It's not always uh, foolproof. You will not always uh, get it right, but the chances of uh, of your predictions coming true will also depend on different circumstances. It will depend on, if this thing happens, this is how this person will react. But if this happens, except if something else happens. Diba? And sometimes you will never really know what all of the things that happen in the lives of the people we follow. But having this skill and realizing that you can actually do this, and it's not magic. It's not voodoo. uh, you can make rational decisions based on how on the patterns that people talk, people act, people respond in people respond to stress through joy, through praise, through criticisms, through heartbreak, or through any kind of situation. You can remember how how they how they act, and and come up with a blueprint of their tendencies. Well, I'm not I'm not a psychologist, but maybe I'm saying these things poorly, but I'm not here to tell you how to do it, because honestly, I don't know how. I don't know how to teach you this skill. I'm only here to tell you that it is possible for you to to have that tool, to develop that that skill or tool that can help you choose and navigate through relationships. Because if you know, um, based on your past experiences, that people are who act like this or respond to situations like this, um, chances are they would not be the same ones. And you can always, of course, read books about psychology, about human behavior, and anything that you can learn how to deal with the psychological tendencies of people, because understanding people is crucial to your life. Not understanding uh, the people that you let into your life can lead to a lot of stress. There are parents who have no clue what to do with their kids. They don't know how to talk to them. They don't know. They cannot build relationships, and mostly because they cannot identify their kids personalities. Because if you can uh, if you can identify the patterns on how they respond and act on a daily basis when given different kinds of situations, then you will know that person deeper. You will know that you would have a peek inside their minds. You would understand them better, whether what they did or how they reacted is good or bad in your opinion, but you would be able to understand them better and have answers or of some sort, or at least have a vague idea. Kasi one of the worst things that could happen to you when you are dealing with somebody important in your life is to be clueless. Is to be clueless in, oh, why did he do that? Diba? You ask your wife or your girlfriend or boyfriend, how was he able to do that to me? How why did my my children, why don't they love me? I don't know. Maybe that's a problem to you. Diba? Why won't my why is it so difficult for me to talk to my kids? Why won't my kids talk to me? Why why don't why are my friends um I don't know, lying to me or keeping me out of the loop? Whatever problems, or why is this person so angry all the time? Why is he why is he saying nasty things about me? Well, I'm not doing anything to him. So if you know a little bit of about psychology, if you can be observant on how they act, then at least you would not be so in the dark. You will not be left in the dark too much. Of course, you will never really know exactly what's going on. This does not make you a mind reader. And again, this is because the only thing that that would tell you precisely what it was is if he would be honest to you and tell you exactly how and why they acted or felt. Otherwise, this will still fall into speculation, although I would argue it would be a useful one. It is one way to protect yourself. Protecting yourself um, in a sense that you can avoid if you see a red flag already. Oh, this is a pattern. When people act like this, then the tendency is that they're gonna be liars. They're gonna be toxic people. They're gonna be uh, they're gonna display disruptive behavior later on. And if you know that, then you would know not to engage that person too much. Diba? If you if you can see, I know the patterns that I've seen. Just to give an example of what I'm talking about, um, I I have a friend, and again, just because you observe these patterns doesn't mean they're bad people. Okay, doesn't mean that they are evil. It's just that it is a pattern that if you want to be a part of the the mess that will come after, then you can avoid it by not being involved, right? Like I have a friend who would who I s- I observed that she could not maintain relationships. She would be she would be um she would be fond of a person. Usually, at first, she's gonna be always talking about that person, and they'd be hanging out all the time. Then after a few months, they're enemies. And when I saw it happen a couple of times, and I also assessed how she carries herself normally, then the next time that she had a new someone where she's always happy, always hanging out with this person. Oh, uh, I predicted that after a few months they're gonna be enemies too, and I was correct. Those kinds of things, you can you see a pattern for. I don't want. I'm gonna digress if I'm gonna discuss um, how I got it, but because I'm gonna be talking about psychology, but it's And also, again, which I don't want to talk about psychology because I'm not a psychologist. No, I do not have credentials for that. But I knew what all I know right now is that I was correct. What my prediction came true, and that happened several times. Uh, I have a friend who always gets into fights with his other friends, and typically he would I would basically I would know the script of the things that he's gonna say afterwards, and usually, and I was always correct when it happens, when he's um, kunyari magbabati na ulit sila. I could basically plot uh, the script for that encounter, and since I always interact with this person, I would know how to thread. I would know this is how he would react if I do this. He's gonna be mad if I do this. If he gets mad, I do this, and I can calm him down. That's why I think it's a good skill because it helps you avoid unnecessary conflicts. I don't know if I'm even making sense right now. I hope I am because I think this is a great skill to learn. You can stop the idea that you can actually one up a person by because sometimes these things, that person himself, the one that I was observing, they don't know that they act like that. They are unaware because I don't know. They probably don't think about that, or they're too narcissistic to to have a proper self assessment. They are not self aware, right? Uh, for if you know something about someone that someone doesn't know about himself, then you can have an advantage. And if you're evil, you can actually use that to manipulate or take or get the upper hand. But hopefully I won't get to that point. But if you can, this is all. This is actually a dangerous skill to have if you're evil, kasi it's easy. It would be easier to you. You would know exactly what to say because you would have an idea what pleases him or pisses him off, and you can uh, you can manipulate people using that. So take that word of caution that I just said, because this could give you power that you cannot control. But I thought I'd share this with you anyway because I think the pros, the not evil benefits of knowing this skill far outweighs far outweighs the evil ones, and most people I believe are not evil. And also, if you're not confident with yourself, if you don't know yourself, you would need to be self-aware first before you can do this. Because if you're not self-aware, chances are you would not recognize a problem kasi hindi mo alam eh. If you cannot properly make an assessment of yourself, then chances are palpak din yung assessment mo sa iba. You get what I mean? If you can't do it, kasi nobody knows you more than yourself. And if you can't make a proper assessment with how you are, how you react, how you act, how you talk, then what how can you make assessment of other people? So knowing yourself, that would that would require humility. Um, that would require character, which I think would lessen the chances of you wanting to use this for evil. And also, um, this is also, like I said, a way for you to defend yourself and lead you or guide you for better choices next time. Kumbaga madadala ka. This you gonna, but I suppose I don't know if this is a natural thing that you can learn as you grow old. Um, I had a little bit of sense of this, even when I was in college. I thought I've always been uh, good at judging character, uh, or I don't know if I'm correct. Diba? But I thought I was, because I was some of my friends would totally um, misjudge some of the people we meet. And well, the thing is, you can learn this. You can learn this if the sooner you realize that that this is available, this skill is available for you to pick up and learn. Maybe you are already experiencing it, like I was when I was younger, or I thought I felt. Then I am here to assure you that there is such thing. You can actually predict how people would react. But of course, you would need to read. Um, I read about a bit of psychology. Also, both in writing, in and also in experiences. Diba? Because I've observed a lot of the people that I interacted with. You can read books and watch videos about relationships. You can watch videos about the different mental problems, the different uh, the different mental disorders. Um, the Learn about this psychopathy, narcissism, um, social antisocial behaviors, those kinds of stuff. Depression, anxiety. Know about the know about these things, so you can apply it also to yourself and make proper assessments. And what I do usually is, when I read about these things, first I ask myself if kung ganun ba ako. If I'm reading about narcissism, am I like this? And then I'm gonna, after if I after having a personal assessment, then I would think of people who are like that. Diba? Of course, hindi ko alam. Of course, I don't really know because I'm not qualified to make clinical clinical diagnosis. But at least you would not be totally blind about the topic. And this actually also helps with me in the podcast when I interview people, because identifying patterns, when you get proficient with it, you'd be able to do that uh, in real time. If you so A lot of my guests are people that I've met for the first time. Okay, so and if you watch the podcast, um, I'm proud to say I'm able to talk to total strangers for hours at end. And I think one of the reasons I could do that is because I can I can do reads on their body language, on their voices, and how they speak and what they're saying. I can do real time reads, which uh, which makes me able to come up with uh, with better questions, right? So that's a useful application of this skill, and you can also use this when meeting new clients, when if or meeting new friends, or meeting anyone basically. um when If you ever need to talk and communicate, also when you when you when meeting people that you haven't seen for a long time, it will be useful as well, kasi you can compare how they are right now compared to how you knew them back then, diba? And I think those are fun sometimes. And again, this is more of a tip, but this is a great skill to have if you can master it. I don't know if I've mastered it enough, or maybe I'm full of shit. It's always a possibility. But so far, I think if I'm full of shit, there are some parts of it that I definitely got. Okay, maybe some on some parts I'm wrong. I'm still wrong, but I'm definitely sure there's a way for you to predict people's behavior. Well, uh, sa police, 'di ba, yung mga investigators, they use this. So there's scientific basis on this, and it should be obvious to you that this is not just the applications is not just for crime, or you can use this in your daily life, dealing with people, even with people that you already know. um Sometimes they would do something that's out of their character, so that's gonna it's gonna bother you a little bit, so you're gonna ask why are you acting like this. I think you got the message. Again, I'm not a psychologist, so don't uh don't take anything that I said with don't put too much merit on everything I said, except that this is possible. Okay. For the rest, that I'm gonna let you find out for yourself. But what I'm certain, at least if you ask me, is you can. This is actually something that you can learn and hopefully utilize for for the good of people, and do not abuse it. Okay, because it can backfire you. And also knowing this can also protect you from people who know this skill as well. Diba? So it's gonna be a mind chess, which is very fun to think. Diba? And I think that's a good analogy. You're making chess moves, um, and just be careful with it, because it can get dangerous. You can, if you get some things right, you might give you false confidence, or whatever conclusion you may come up with. Always remember that it would not be absolute. At the end of the day, unless you get a confession, you still don't really know. Okay, keep that in mind. Unless sinabi niya sa'yo, yun, you know what objective means. But ito, I'm here to tell you again, people behave in identifiable patterns, and people are predictable. Okay, Powerful Comics Man podcast.